Hey guys, Ezra here and welcome back to another movie review. And on today's video, I want to talk about this movie called Novocaine, which is an action comedy thriller movie starring Jack Quaid. Now, I initially have no idea what Novocaine was, but I think the premise and the trailer kind of convinced me to watch it, and I also love, Jack Quaid. I think he's a incredible actor, and it's about a man named Nathan Kent that has a rare disorder named cognitive insensitivity to pain, or CIP for short. And basically, he can't feel pain, and that is an interesting premise, especially for an action movie, because Nathan Kane himself isn't exactly a fighter, because his job was actually I think as assistant manager in a bank, and he's trying to after the bank robbery because his love interest, played by ambermidthunder, which you might know her from Prey, the Predator movie, which I think is pretty good, Sherry. So yeah, that's basically the premise of Novocaine. It's a pretty simple plot, but I do think this movie is really fun. Holy hell, dude! And it was fun as well, thanks to Jack Quaid and the premise. But I will say this though. I think despite the fact that this movie has a lot of fun moments, which we're gonna get into, that is actually this movie has hearts, because there is actually some pretty touching moment between Nathan and Sherry's characters, because the two of them has a traumatic past, and that kind of like became the reason why they both connected so well, and I feel like it is something that you could relate to, so like even though that this movie treats this rare disease, the CIP, as a comedy in a way, like the movie itself managed to make us feel sorry for Nathan for having the disease, because like even though that he can't feel pain, there is another risk for that, because for example, because he cannot feel pain, then if there is like some incident happen, or maybe he has like a other disease inside his body, like he can't exactly feel that. And obviously he could just die at any moment and he doesn't even know it, and he is traumatized, by this disease because of his overbearing parents, and thanks to Sherry here, Nathan was able to become more open-minded, and eventually try to save her from three bank robbery, and it's like, yeah, it's a really good setting up, because like the first act of this movie is literally a rom-com, before eventually when the bank robbery happens, that's where the movie switched and becomes an action comedy thriller, and it is really fun to watch. I think the action sequences are really well directed, and I think Jack Quaid also does a great job doing like the stunts, I guess, in some of the action sequence, like I don't know, I'm not entirely sure if he does like most of his stunt in the movie, but maybe he did, who knows, because like it seems like maybe he did because the way the scene was directed, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I think Jack Quaid handles himself really well in an action sequence, and I also gotta give props to the bad guy here, played by Ray Nicholson, which is Jack Nicholson's son, named Simon. I think he's a really charismatic bad guy, and I think Ray Nicholson gives like a really interesting performance here that actually makes you really hate the guy, because like he's a cocky son of a bitch, and you just want to see him dead, like even he was like an asshole towards like his other partners, and it's like, yeah, man, you really hate this guy, and I think Ray Nicholson performance really elevate that, and besides that, we also have jacobbatalon. You might know him from the Spider-Man movie. He plays Nat in the Spider-Man movie, but in this movie he plays Roscoe Dixon, which is basically Nathan's online gaming friend, and honestly, I think Roscoe's character actually also really good, because it's also add another heart to the story and to Nathan's characters, and it's absolutely beautiful, to be honest. I actually really care about all the characters in this movie, and I think the relationship between Nathan and Sherry really works really well, and the relationship between Nathan and Roscoe, as a best friends that never met because they're online friends, they somehow managed to find a way to make that friendship work, and yeah, I really care for him at the end of the day, and it's absolutely amazing, and yeah, I think another praise that I can say about this movie is that there is actually some twist that happens, in this movie, like maybe some plot twist that happen. Maybe you can actually see the twist coming a long way, but I feel like I will say this though, it's not exactly a plot twist, but I guess like the scene where in the end here, it seems like the movie is going to end. And honestly, I thought that the movie is going to end in a very disappointing way, to be honest, because like before that, we have like amazing action sequence, in the kitchen, and then after that we got some R-rated Home Alone sequence, but obviously Nathan cannot feel pain, so there is a lot of like comedy there. There is another fight scene in the house there, and there is another fight scene with like a tattoo parlor, which are absolutely brutal, like the way they show the injury in this movie was absolutely make me cringe, because it was so like it was so nasty, it was so disgusting, but obviously Nathan cannot feel pain, and that's like the fun part about making this movie, where this character can just be abused as anytime as he wants because he doesn't feel pain, and it leads to like a funny scene in this Home Alone home, where the bad guy tries to torture Nathan, and then Nathan tries to pretend that he was actually in pain, and I think jackquaid's acting in that scene was absolutely hilarious. I love that a lot, But anyway, what I'm gonna say is that by the time you get to the third act of this movie, I thought that, oh, okay, this is the ending. I thought it was leading up to this pretty clearly, and then the movie suddenly just like it seems like it reached to a sudden conclusion, And I at first I was so ready to feel a bit disappointed, because like everything leading up to the ending was perfect in my opinion, And I was like, oh, that's how you're gonna end it? Okay, that's kind of disappointing. And then boom, like suddenly the movie is still going. It's like, oh, wait a second, we still got 10 to 15 minutes left in this movie, and then it leads to another great action sequence, which is like the final boss essentially. I was like, okay, thank God, because I thought the movie is going to end in a very disappointing way, and this movie managed to surprise me, that, oh, there is more, and I love that, because usually there is some movies out there that actually, heading clearly towards the ending of the story, and you kind of see it coming, and then like for some reason it's still going, But I feel like with Novocaine here, I'm actually really glad that the initial idea for the third act of the scene is not exactly the ending or like the overall conclusion of the movie, because that will be disappointing and lame. So I'm really thankful that the movie found a way to surprise me then, and is still going and give us another great action sequence. It's absolutely fantastic, And I also love how they handle certain characters in this movie, that there is actual consequences that happen in this movie, Like the characters just didn't walk away for free, There's actually consequences for their action, And I absolutely love that, So yeah, I really love this movie, I don't really have many criticism, I guess maybe there is some stupid decision that was made by certain characters, but I feel like that's it, for the most part it was actually really great, So great performance by everybody else, but especially jackquaid, I think it's absolutely amazing. Action sequences is amazing, and the music itself is also really amazing, So yeah, overall it's a really fun movie, and I think people will enjoy this movie a lot, and of course like there is a heart in the story itself, that makes you actually sympathize with the character. This is not just like a fun action movie, but there is a heart in the story, and I really appreciate that, So I think the writers and the directors does a great job in this movie, And before I end the review, I want to talk a little bit about my sequel ideas, because I think this movie will probably do well, I really hope this movie actually does well, because it's a really fun movie. And honestly, I want to see a sequel to this movie, because I love the characters, I love the action, I love the idea, for the characters that cannot feel pain, because you can be creative to torture the character. So my sequel idea is that imagine in Novocaine 2, instead of just like, Nathan himself that was actually cannot feel pain, imagine if the rest of if the villain in the second movie actually has the same disease as him, which is the CIP. So like imagine if we see Nathan who has a CIP finding another a bunch of villains that has a CIP, so they cannot exactly feel pain just like him. And you guys can just imagine how insane the action sequence could be, like because right now the bad guy in this movie, obviously they can feel pain, and that's why they die, and that's why they are. Well, I mean, Nathan can also die. Don't get me wrong, but the advantage for him is that, well, he can be tortured as much as he likes, and then he doesn't feel anything, But the bad guy feels something, so obviously there is that, But imagine in the sequel, if the bad guy doesn't feel pain just like he did. Like, that would be amazing premise in my opinion, you know. And that's how you do a sequel, to make them bigger and to make them more insane. Just imagine the creativity that the directors and the stunt coordinator can came up in the sequel if they actually do that idea, you know, by making the rest of the villains in Novocaine 2 basically has the CIP disease just like Nathan here, you know. Like, that would be amazing, you know. So yeah, that's my idea. So anyway guys, that's my review for Novocaine, you know. It's a really fun action movie, you know. So let me know in the comment section below, you know, what do you guys think about this movie right here, you know. And what do you guys think about my sequel ideas? You know, do you guys think that would be an insane idea? You know, do you guys think that was a terrible idea? You know, let me know your opinions in the comment section below. You know, and yeah, if you guys enjoyed this movie, then make sure guys, you know, shoot or punch the subscribe and like button, guys. You know, share the videos, the usual stuff. You know, stay tuned for more videos in the future. You know, and again, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Then, bye.